Thanks a lot, Jeremy. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, today I'm going to be talking about the data science behind public speaking. And this is a side project that I did, as you mentioned, now like a couple of years ago. The reason that I did it also is because it combines my interest of my professional career on the side of the predictive modelings on the professional career, and my interest on public speaking, as you mentioned. And yeah, in my experience now, 15 years ago of professional experience, I've been working in mainly credit risk companies. I have been working in Citigroup, I have been working in Lloyd's and EY, and now in Foremost. And within all of this experience of building predictive models, that's where I found a really interesting opportunity to apply these ones in public speaking. And this project, I'm going to be talking about predictive analytics and about also text analytics. So before starting, I want to check with all of you. I want to ask you two questions, and let's just use the chat. So I'm going to write a question in here, and I'm going to also say it. It's the first question that I want to know about all of you is, how experienced are you in predictive modeling? In this case, about logistic regression or machine learning. You can type just 1, 2, or 3. 1 meaning no experience, 2 minimum experience, or 3 relevant experience. This is to know more about you and your background. So yeah, we have a mix, no experience. It's quite mixed. We have yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like everyone is a mix of all the relevant experience, which I'm going to be explaining many concepts for all of the people that are not familiar at all. But now the second question, thanks for that. Second question is about text analytics. How experienced are you in text analytics? And let's just use the 1, 2, and 3. 1, no experience. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 1. In this one, we have more minimum or no 2.5. Yeah, it could be almost a relevant experience. We have more towards 1 and 2 than in predictive analytics. So that's good to know. So I'm going to be explaining a little bit more of the data, or the text analytics as well. And then, so now let's go to the presentation. And all of this inspiration that I got for this project was precisely from my interest in public speaking, and also trying to improve my public speaking. I have one of my 3 favorite speeches that probably you can see here. Probably you know them. We are talking about 3 different speakers with these speeches that they gave. It basically shaped the world that we live right now. Probably you can even use the chat if you are feeling to guess who I'm talking about. Let's see if someone can get the answer in the chat. Perfect. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got. So we have as they say, John F. Kennedy. We have also Martin Luther King, and we have Winston Churchill. And they are really, really great, and I think one of the best public speakers ever. And I thought, like, what could be the differences that they have in their speeches, and in particularly about the ones that we just showed before. And I said, okay, let's try to use text analytics. And I used the word clouds, as probably you're familiar with them. The word clouds, what we're trying to do is try to show the distribution of the words of each of these different speeches. And in here, what it struck me the most is that they use, the 3 of them, they use the same word as the most popular one, as the most common one. And probably you can start to spot it there. I'm going to give you a clue about it. And it's just right there in the middle is the word will. Well, in the case of Winston Churchill, he used more the British style with the shall. But in general, it talks about that they use the same word, will, to think about something, to make something referring to the future. And obviously, this gave me an idea, like, can we probably take all of the use of predictive analytics and all of the analytics behind the speeches to try to come with what makes a really good speech. And obviously, I'm using right now three speeches, which you probably think is not enough data. And as a data scientist, we always want to have more data, analyze more of them to try to come with patterns. And in specific on predictive analytics, it's really important to have more data to have better conclusions and better findings and more interesting patterns as well. And definitely, I need to have more number of talks. Ideally to remove any bias on the way that they are delivered, to have the same format and style. And also, since we're analyzing the transcript of the speeches, ideally would like to have a lot of them that are ready to use them. So we don't need to juggle around the audio or the video just to try to extract all of the text behind the speeches. And also, what is important is how can we determine that something is popular or not? So that was the thing that I was trying to find somewhere that I can use to find the patterns of what makes a really good public speaking. And it didn't take me long to find where I can get this data, because probably you have seen this and you're familiar with TED Talks, which are aiming to spread ideas, and they have the same format, they have the same duration, they have the same purpose, and they are given by so many people around. So that's what I found, that it was the perfect data set to use. Now the issue was, how can I get all the text behind the TED Talks? Because there are so many TED Talks. So to make life easier, I found a really interesting data set, and it comes from Kaggle. So probably you're familiar with Kaggle. It's a website that promotes data science competitions to create the best models. And in fact, with this link that I'm sharing right now, there is someone already that saved me the job of doing all the scrapping, the web scrapping, and extract all of the transcripts from all of the TED Talks. So that was really good, saved me a lot of time. So I just reuse it. And I got all the TED Talks from there. Amazing. So I didn't need to spend more time trying to get that text. So now I have the data, so I need to put my mindset on how to analyze this data. So I use the popular approaches of data science approach. So first of all, we have all the data ready. We just need to analyze it. We need to adjust it, and we need to create features or patterns to analyze if they are popular or not to make a public speaking. Then the second stage was to put everything in obviously in R and create models so we can analyze the patterns behind it. And finally, obviously as well, trying to make the most of what does the model is saying about public speaking. So I'm going to be following this structure in the coming slides, so you can see how is the transition to do all of this. So first of all, the data extraction and feature engineering. So just to give a concept for those ones that are not that familiar about TED Talks. So this is the main website, and on this data set that I found from the Kaggle website, you have all the full transcript as one of the fields of one of the part of the data set. You have also how long the duration of the speech lasts. You have also when it was released, and obviously as well you have the number of views. That in this case for me is really important, because that's going to be how I'm going to measure if public speaking is good or bad. If someone gives a really good speech, potentially it's going to be with a lot of high number of views. And also the dataset have many other features that you can see, for example, who gave the talk, the topics, and so on. So it's quite comprehensive scrapping of data from these websites. And that's for every single TED Talk that it was given up to that time of the web scrapping. So it's 2,500 TED Talks that are in total in this data set. So now we got the data in here. So one of the things that I was still quite new when I embarked all of these tasks, it was about text analytics. I didn't know done much about how to analyze text. And I came with a really, really good book that it follows that philosophy of tidyverse, as it was mentioned before, that makes easier to analyze text. And this is basically is so good because it's just so much easy. It's so easier to use, and it just aligns really well to what I wanted to do. And on top of that, it's an R library. And on top of that, the book is free. So you can just go there in textmining.com, and then you can get the full book and then all the code to analyze data. So I'm going to be talking about that now. But to give you a more idea how much data I have, so it's all of these number of views. I had comments, I have ratings, I have when it was filmed, when it was published on the website, I had the duration of time. And obviously, once we have all of these, then the main thing was to analyze the text. So one of the main things to do is to break down all one big text into words, analyze how many words each of the, how many words it's saying, how many times it says. Also, really good thing is that in the transcript, there were reactions of the audience. So it basically says if when people was laughing or when people were applauding. And also from the text analytics, one thing to do is to, instead of just counting words individually, you can create engrams. So you can create combinations of words and also analyze the frequency of this combination of words, which is something that I did to analyze if there were patterns of words that were really popular across the tech talks. So once I have all of these data set, what I want to predict with this predictive analytics is to analyze if, using all of these data set, what were the patterns or the characteristics that make that tech talk really popular. So I'm trying to predict with a binary classification if the tech talk is a top view talk or not. So we have the data ready to analyze, and so let's go to how we can build a model from it. And I use all my experience from building credit scores in the credit risk industry. So in the credit risk scores, what you want to predict is when people will pay or not the loan or the mortgage. Now we're trying to predict if they're gonna be a good sector or not. So I'm using the same methodologies about analyzing the data and removing data that it was not fit for purpose. In this case, there were some talks that were so long, like even up to an hour. So there were it was quite an outlier from our data set. I analyzed the frequency of the words and standardize. One important thing is also standardized views. So some tech talks was given long time ago. So I'm trying to make from how much time they have been published to take advantage or to standardize that even if they have a lot of time in there, also to be comparable to something that has released recently. So it was standardized to the months of views available to make it comparable across all the history of tech talks already given. And obviously I use tidyverse. It's untidy text that is so much easier to analyze information with it. I analyzed what from my side, I analyzed what were correlated, and I found that many engrams, many combinations of words that were really correlated. For example, going is high correlated with going to. Well, the characteristics are very similar, so there are words that are coming together. So I removed the ones that were very similar for the purpose of building a predictive model. And I create even more once I analyze that some patterns were more popular or more frequent across tech talks, just to give it a try and see if that was a pattern. But ultimately, once I have all of these data set and went through all of these phases, what I wanted to see is also to build a model that was simple, but also capture all the information of it, all the relevant patterns. And one of the things that I use is making use of logistic regressions, but also more complex models to see how much accuracy can bring. So I use this H2O library that is quite good to just build so many models just automatically. And I did that when I compared it to manual models that I was building with my expertise in credit scores. I have this comparison of models. I'm plotting in here the accuracy, so higher the number is more accurate. And what it was finding is that even the models that I was building manually and tuned them, they're quite good as the really complex methodologies of machine learning models, which was quite reassuring, that basically saying that I do good models manually. But ultimately, it's saying that even if we put the most complex techniques in there, it's not going to be as bad as doing it with a simple manual logistic regression, given the size and given this problem, obviously. So what did I learn from this? This is the most important thing that I want to share with all of us. That the model that got the best one, the one that I selected as one really good candidate, it was quite good. It was 73% of the times were accurately predicting that if it was a good talk or not, analyzing the number of views, which is quite good, considering that we are using just text to analyze how good is a tech talk. And the most important thing that I want to share is also how you can make better your public speaking. And one of the most important things from these patterns that the model is finding is that if we make short talks, if we make brief talks, it's so much better. And in this case, I'm thinking that we have we just have a really limited time to capture the attention of our audience. So the shorter the talks are, the better. One other thing that is really relevant into the tech talks is to speak slowly. And funny enough, every time that I say this, I try to speak slower, because ultimately you are giving to the audience more time to process. And that's how you understood this pattern that the model is finding in the data. So speak slowly, and always less words per minute is so much better. Also, one relevant factor that it was found is to ask questions. The more, the better. And that's why probably you have seen that you ask a lot of questions, because in some way you always are engaging your audience. So you don't give them time to check their phones, because they're always engaging with you, trying to answer the question that you are saying. And obviously, make your audience laugh. Use humor to always keep engaging your audience. And this one in specific, I found this pattern because from the transcripts, there were that part of when the audience was laughing. So that the more they were laughing, the more popular got that tech talk. And in other patterns that the model also found is that to make more conversational or longer sentences in a way that makes, if we talk with shorter sentences are really brief, it sounds probably that we are saying something memorized or probably like a robot. So try to keep always a conversational style to make your presentation so much easier to understand. So once we have this model, obviously, I just tried also to find what the model was saying, that it was a good tech talk and a bad tech talk based in my model, and also to see if I was feeling that it was coming correct. And effectively, that's one of the things that I found, like the model was saying that, for example, this talk from Ethan Zuckerman was really bad. And yeah, I think it's really bad, and don't take me wrong, he gave a tech talk. But the style wasn't that engaging for what I was expecting. So the model, I think, in some way it got it right. And also, funny enough, the talks from the Google founders, it wasn't also that really engaging. It was just really, really long, really slow, really tedious. So it's also saying that in some way the model got it right in this case. And also one of the not very good talks, it was from Jeff Bezos. So it's kind of saying that hopefully not is the case that the geeky talks are really bad, because then when I'm going to the other side, the talks that the model is saying that they are really good, one of the highest rank, it was from Stephen Hawking. And in this talk, even though that he's using a monotonous voice with the assistant voice that he uses, the thing that struck me is that he asks a lot of questions, and every time that he's saying his talk, I engage on that side, and that's why it scores so high on this metric. And also another talk that gives me even the purpose of my public speaking and to improve it even better, that it doesn't matter the topic, you can make a really good talk. And in this case, with my background in statistics, it gives me that this talk from Alan Smith on why you should love statistics. It's one of the highest rank. And if you watch it, you will see why. It combines all of these patterns that I mentioned before, asking questions, using humor, speak in a really easy way and in a really conversational style. And also the time, it was just 12 minutes. In just 12 minutes, he managed to give an amazing tech talk, which I feel is like a role model, considering my background and my aspiration to become a really good public speaker. But that's not all. You can use the model to improve your public speaking. So I put an online app. If you visit my website, you can use this model. You can use the model behind. So you can put your transcript from your talk that you want to give, and it's going to analyze the patterns on it. And then it's going to tell you how good it is or not. So you can see probably you are falling in, you're speaking probably too fast. Probably you are, your talk is quite long, or probably you are not using enough humor questions. So you can use it to improve your public speaking. And I have used it as well, just to see if probably I'm just falling too fast or too slow in talks that I'm gonna give. And obviously you can use it to improve it. You record your transcript, you run it there, and then you use the recommendations so you can improve your public speaking. So that's about me. This is what I show with this project as a side project, that it was really exciting for me to use for one of the first times text analytics and predictive modeling together. And obviously with R, it was so easy to use to build all of this, from the data analysis to the modeling itself, and to build a workable app, as you saw. It was quite streamlined, and I didn't need to check other options. It was so much easier to develop from end to end this tool. And also really important that we need to get our skills, public speaking is really sharp as the data scientists, because we are always engaging with our clients or customers or people that we want to communicate our findings in the data. So I really encourage everyone to join public speaking groups, to always step in front to present something, because it's a really, really important skill for every data scientist. So thanks a lot. If you want to keep in touch with me, my website has a lot of my speakthedata.com has previous talks that I have given in many other conferences and events. And also, if you want to get in touch with LinkedIn, this is my LinkedIn. And yeah, thanks a lot.